Happy Wine Wednesday! So sorry we're so late. It is, of course, as usual, completely my fault. Running kids around, but we're here now. I am sipping on some Pinot Noir tonight. Let me know what you're sipping on in the chat. If you are on Instagram, don't forget it's going to look a little funny because of the aspect ratio. Jump on over to YouTube. Well, you can listen on Instagram, no problem. But jump on over to YouTube, search Seahorse Whisperer, and you'll find us live. And then you can communicate with us, ask questions. Hazen, Ginger, hello, everyone joining us. I've got Ray, Holly, and Cheryl with me tonight. Dan was here, but apparently I was late, so he left. Hopefully he'll jump back in. Only other news I have is that we finally got in touch with Dr. Tim. Apparently I was emailing the wrong email. So he is going to come on Wine Wednesday. Stay tuned for that. Ray, you get all your questions about organics ready, and I will let you know when that's going to happen.
I have no questions for him.
Well, I'm just saying, Ray, I'll talk to you later. Anyways, point being, we can't wait to have Dr. Tim on. And we're going to, if Dan jumps back in, we'll maybe ask him about scheduling that final Ask Seahorse Source Part 4. Sorry, guys, holiday season. It's been hectic. Please let me know in the comment section how your holiday has been. What's going on with you? I chopped my hair off. That's the only other update. And I need Vincent seahorses because I still want my babies. But that's my Christmas present. Hey, Melinda. Hey, Heather. We got to get Heather her Robert King Char Chamber also. I'm working on that, Heather. I am, absolutely. Okay, guys, I know we've got some holiday pictures and videos to share from Holly, but let's give an update. What's going on with you? How was your holiday? Ray, you first.
Well, my holiday went bust. I was going to break my COVID fast, and on Christmas Day I was going to go to St. Thomas where my closest daughter is.
Yes.
And so her kids were going to be there and so on. And one of my other daughters was coming down. And then I get a phone call. They did their COVID testing for me because of my kidney disease. I can't be exposed to it. Eh? So they all do the COVID testing. My son-in-law's got COVID.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Wiped out today.
Oh, that sucks.
Well, part of life.
It is. I'm glad you're still doing okay. I mean,
that's next year.
Yeah. Or postpone it and go next month or something just for a visit or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, after everything's over everything.
To do because her daughter, my granddaughter, is at the University of Maine on a 4-year hockey scholarship. And
gotcha. So not everybody's around.
And
gotcha. That's too bad.
And the other daughter that had come down has to come. It's a 6-hour drive.
Yeah.
For her to come down.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was longer this time because of the storm, but you know, getting everybody together, it's not easy.
Right.
That's true. Yeah.
My kids are scattered all the way to the East Coast. Out of the 5 kids, I have none in town.
Yeah, hey, my immediate family's not here anymore either after the fire, but I finally got to see them over Thanksgiving. You know, they came out from Santa Fe and I got to see my new niece that just turned a year old, but yeah, I hadn't seen them in years.
So is the year-old like the seahorses?
It's harder and harder every year to get everyone together. Cheryl, how was your holiday? You doing all right?
I had a great time. Fortunately, even with all the hard freeze for almost a week, I have no burst pipes, which right there in itself, considering everybody around me had water flowing everywhere.
Yep.
But I actually used Mylar sheeting and wrapped all the pipes and left them dripping and did the internal stuff and did not lose a single drop of water out of it, which made me very happy, to say the least. And then every Christmas Eve, we have one in-laws, and we all get together, all of us, all the in-laws and everybody else. And then on Christmas Day, we have a slightly smaller one with more immediate family. So we have 2 Christmas parties in a row. And fortunately, I've had the flu shot, 3 COVID booster shots, and the whole 9 yards. And so
Nice.
far, I have no symptoms.
Yeah, I've
Nice.
actually heard recently that people who got all the shots are having more trouble. Have you guys heard that? We'll get
No.
into
It's not
seahorses
so
in a
much.
second, guys, but
I've
No.
been
no, you haven't
hearing
heard that?
basically they get,
There's a lot
well, you
more
can
deaths
get sick, but
happening
not
than-
as bad.
There's a lot more
Yeah.
deaths, but it's happening
No
in the older
symptoms.
community.
Gotcha.
You have some degree of immunity with it, but I jumped on it really fast. And I've already had the bivalent booster also.
Mhm.
And so far, if I've got COVID, I haven't known about it or the flu.
Mhm.
Well, I'm so
The
glad to hear
beauty of
that.
it
And
was it makes it easier for you if you do get it. It doesn't, there's
Yeah.
no way, nothing's 100% going to stop you from getting it. But if you do
Gotcha.
get it, your odds of getting through it easy are much greater.
well,
Yeah.
again, welcome to
More
everybody
people
new.
I know have been more like a cold lately.
Yeah.
The
Gotcha.
people that have had it, that have had their shots. It's not bad.
Yes,
Seahorse
I have
Corner
2
said
patients with COVID.
Seahorse Corner said she has 12 patients currently with COVID, all but one vaccinated and boosted.
Yeah.
Scary stuff. Scary
Mhm.
stuff. But I'm glad everybody is here, healthy. Hopefully Dan comes back. I'm sorry I'm so fidgety, you guys. I literally Holly messaged me and said, Kelly, where are you? It's like 8:20 and I was running, so I'm frazzled. So I apologize. But tonight is open chat. So anything you guys want to chat about, any questions, seahorse reef related, anything, ask away. Otherwise, we're just gonna chat.
Well, one thing
Go
I'd
ahead.
like Holly to show is how much her seahorses have already changed color just with her new light. Because I
Mhm.
followed up and posted a picture for her of an 8-day-old Combs that was bright, bright yellow.
Holly, is
And
that in the video and pictures you sent
I
me?
just sent you one. Well, this afternoon I installed the new light, which has a lot of different features on it. And I'm seeing some results I've never seen before. And I have some theories about it I wanted to share tonight, about seahorse color and how it works. And it was like a light bulb
Okay, well,
coming
wait.
on. So I'll
Before
get
you
into
share your
it
theories,
and share.
yeah, no, and hey D from Brooklyn, it's been a long time. Love to see you here. Tonight's open chat again, guys. So anything you want to chat about and have discussed, please get in the comment section. But Holly, did you send me the picture or videos? Like
I
which?
did. I sent them right before we started. It did upload. I sent it to your personal messenger, not the Wine Wednesday one.
Okay, so the 28 photos in a video, because this is the first one I see. Hang on. Let me share real quick. This is the first one I
basically,
see.
her seahorses are dramatically changing color from what
I
they
got
had
it.
been in the past.
But what's this one?
One
Holly?
is. Okay, so this is the one I just sent you, and this is actually results of after some of the other pictures I took you. But basically, the long and short of it, and there's pictures of the lighting in the collection of pictures
Okay.
I sent you. But I put in their new light today, and it's got a feature on it.
Well, wait, Holly,
where-
should I show the other pictures first? Oh my God, look, he just changed color. Holy crap.
Well, compared to the other, you see that? The
Yeah.
lighting's
Do
the same.
you want me to show them in the order that you sent them to me?
Yeah, I guess
I'll do.
we
Let me
can
start
go
over.
the beginning, yeah, because it might
Okay.
be easier for me to get to.
Yep.
Where I
Okay. So
wanted
here's what we're gonna
Hold
do,
on a
folks.
moment. We have a question
Wait.
about what variety of seahorses are these. These are your typical hippocampus
the
erectus
rectus.
that we find commonly in the U.S. They're in the Gulf and also in the Atlantic seaboard. So that they're very common and they can be very colorful.
Yes. Okay. So what we're doing right now is I asked last week for Holly to put together some pictures and photos about her Seahorse's holiday because she does she does spruce up the tank for the
That's some
holidays for her
Christmas
seahorses.
decorations. Yeah.
And now she wants to talk about lighting too. So we're going to share what she's sharing, but any questions in the comment section we will get to, I promise. Let me start your collection, Holly, so we can
Yeah.
go from there. Here we go. Hang
So
on, it's
we'll
opening up.
start with the pictures. And basically what starts with is I have, some Christmas decorations for them that I found. PetSmart and Petco have cute little Christmassy things, for your aquarium. And so I put together a couple years back, I started getting the Christmassy stuff for them. This is more the end of the album, so I think you're at the end, not the beginning.
Okay, let me start over here. Here's what I got. So I start here. So I need to go to the bottom and start here.
Oh yeah, all the way down.
Okay, here we go.
Oh whoa.
So this is
That's
the
only
first
the
one,
beginning.
or no?
No, it's way back. This is stuff I added later. Interesting.
Go back to that seahorse for a second, though, and Holly, explain the difference in the color since you just started the new light earlier.
Yeah,
Well, do you want me to, wait, hang on. Do you want me to, I'm so sorry, guys.
Yeah, let's not go there yet. Let's do the Christmas stuff first, so there's a background on it.
Okay,
Yeah.
so tell me when I'm getting to the Christmas stuff. I'm
Interesting.
sorry.
It's almost like you're not. Oh, okay. So you're in the wrong album.
Ah, okay. Here, let me
Okay.
stop sharing. We'll get it.
I think
All right.
there's like if you go to, let me look at what I sent you, and I think
Okay.
I
We'll get
sent
it,
you
guys.
more
Hang on
than
one
one
second.
album.
Okay, maybe I'm looking at the wrong one. That's probably
25
it.
new photos. Let me see. Oh, log into Facebook to see it. I have to log in.
Oh, you know what? I could probably just search it. So it's under you, right? On
Yeah.
your personal?
Oh, yeah. Can you go to my page and go to where my photos
can.
are? And there should be a Christmas album for the Seahorses.
Okay. Holly's albums. And we've got the, see, it's the same one though. It's,
I think what it is it only showed you the newest ones I added. Not all of them is what happened.
Yeah.
I'm looking,
so if
guys.
you
I'm
open
sorry.
the actual album, it should be all there.
All right. I'm going to show you guys so you don't think I'm crazy what I'm doing here. All right. So I'm on Holly's Facebook. All right. So where do you want me to go?
Okay, so
Seahorse Christmas 2022.
There we go. That's what it is.
All
It was a different album. Okay,
Okay.
sorry about that.
Now I'll hush and let you speak.
Now-
Go ahead, Holly.
Okay, so anyway, and you can scroll through these pretty fast because there's a bunch, but you can see some cute pictures. But what it is I found Christmas stuff for them a couple years back, in some of the commercial pet stores, PetSmart and Petco. And so I change out my Seahorses decor throughout the year, frequently, seasonally. I give them new stuff, which they seem to enjoy. And they like when you put new stuff in, they enjoy exploring and hitching to stuff. They find their favorites. So over the holiday, I took a lot of cute pictures of them, with all their little Christmassy things.
Oh, I love that. I love it.
That's what the tank looked like, like basically I set up their stuff Thanksgiving time when I decorated the house for Christmas also. And just took pictures of them with their things, throughout. And I got
Where do you get these items?
PetSmart and Petco.
Jeez.
They have, like, if you go in the store or you look online, they always have little seasonal decorations. And what I found is that the Seahorses will like their big stuff.
Yep.
That I leave the same all the time. They're big corals, but they seem to
Like
really
that.
enjoy small hitches.
Yep.
Especially things that are smooth and simple. So
like the sweet but busted. I love that.
Yeah, sweet but twisted candy cane. And yeah, there's Scrappy Doo with the antlers. But they seem to like this kind of thing. So anyway, for the holidays, I decorate their tank with these kind of things and they enjoy them. And then for Christmas, I give them a stocking
Oh, I love
and
it.
I stuff it with different plants and little decor and things. And then after Christmas, I switch out the decorations so they get new stuff, after Christmas, and I put away the Christmas stuff. And so they got some new plants and things. Today was their water change day. Don't they look cute with the little Christmas
They
trees and things?
do. They are adorable,
That's
and you can tell they actually like them. I mean, they're hitching to
They
them. They
they
go to
really
them.
do, and you'll see some pictures where, like, all of them are on the Christmas tree or all of them are on the candy cane. They just really love
Fight
their little hitches, and so,
and
yeah,
the
I
star
enjoy.
on top. That's so cute. I
Mhm,
love
mhm.
it.
Yeah, I think I have some pictures where there's, like, a seahorse sitting on the star, like they're trying to be the star.
And
So, and
on
you
the
can see
antlers.
Dandy, like one thing to notice as you go through the pictures, the really dark seahorse that you see is Dandy.
Okay.
And he's the one that's handicapped,
Right.
remember? And so as you go through,
Wait,
that's the
Holly.
really
Holly. He looks like he's blowing a kiss. But go ahead.
yeah,
Sorry.
that's Scrappy Doo. Yeah, that's my Scrappy Doo. And you'll see they look different in different
Yeah.
lighting. This is in the grow out tank. So the ones that have the candy cane are in my grow out tank. Not that I'm growing them out, they're adults now. But yeah, they enjoy courting on the
Oh
new stuff.
yeah. There's
They
the
always
nod.
yeah,
He said,
and
"Come on,
remember he's
buddy."
lazy, he won't swim up.
Yep.
He wants to lay on the floor and get his eggs.
Yep.
But so you'll notice, like in the display tank, the really dark seahorse is Dandy. So this is still in the grow out tank. And you'll see I have one male in that tank and 6 females.
Wow. He's a
And
lucky boy.
yeah, maybe. So there's Sadie. So this is back in the display tank.
Sorry, we're jumping around, guys. They're kind of
No, just go, there's
pictures.
a lot of pictures. So yeah, you can go through them quickly.
Ooh, it
And you'll
glows.
see the different lighting. Yeah, that some of the decorations are made to glow in black light
Oh, I love it.
or in various lighting conditions.
That
Yeah,
is
so
too cute.
they'll stand out. So sometimes when the blue light's on, they'll glow like that. So
Just tell me if I need to slow down or speed up, Holly.
oh
I'm
no,
sorry. I'm just
you can just keep going through it. And then
oh,
I'll point out if I see, like in normal lighting, Dandy looks really dark. And we're
gotcha.
seeing mostly the blue light now. But in normal white, bright yellow lighting, which you'll see in okay, so there's Dandy. See how
Okay.
dark he is, even though it's
Yes.
really light? So this is something
Yep.
I want to point out because I'm going to talk about it later. And
Okay.
as you
So
go
we pay
through, like
attention.
in the bright lighting in this tank, you'll see that the other seahorses look yellow. Like
Okay.
that he'll be
But
that
I
dark.
do want to say I can't wait to hear your theory,
Yeah.
but I think he's gorgeous.
Mhm.
I love a seahorse that looks striped and zebraed and
He
sparkles.
has beautiful patterns and his coloring,
Look at those
like when the
sparkles.
bright light is on in that tank, he will look lighter in color. Normally he looks very dark. And
You can tell just through the pictures. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Well,
sorry.
here
I
we
jumped
go. No,
ahead.
this
What's
is
this?
perfect. No, this is part of that album. So
Okay.
this is what was in the Christmas stocking for the grow out tank. So
Aw.
you can see they got some plants. That plant on the right that has like green with red and purple leaves in the middle. I found
Yep.
that in the reptile section
Okay.
at Petco, and it's silk plant. So it's the same stuff that goes in an aquarium. And even it says on the package that it's fresh and saltwater safe. So it's not just
Nice.
for reptiles, even though it's designed for them. So that was one of the things I added as like a vine thing
Mm-hmm.
for the grow out tank to make kind of a jungle situation for them, and then some plants, some tiki stuff. The rainbows they had before when I was raising fry, I used to use
Yep.
the rainbows, so I gave it back to them. And that's another, I think
That's
that
a
one's at PetSmart.
That is a great tip, though, that you can look in the reptile section and just make sure it says saltwater safe. Because I always
Yeah,
worry about
or if
that.
you
But
know what the material is, they sell silk plants for
yeah,
reptiles. And silk plants is the same thing you use for aquariums. So this was the stocking for the display tank. So this is the plants and decor that went into the display tank today.
yeah,
And then another thing that I got,
awesome.
actually, this was a gift from my brother, and it's another cave type thing. And I like this one because it's got multiple huge openings on, nobody's gonna get stuck.
Yep, I love
And
it.
and
And
it the goby,
hitches,
yeah, the goby will like it, the shrimp will like it because they like to go into the caves. And so
absolutely.
that, okay, here we go. My new light.
Okay,
So I've had this for over a month now, but I didn't take the time because I've been busy working and stuff. And my experience has always been it takes a while to program the lighting. I spent a whole day on the last light that I
yep,
used. And so I got this. And what I really like about it is it comes pre programmed with a default program that actually fits my schedule. The lights come on at 6:30 a.m., go off at 6 p.m., and then it's got sunrise, sunset, and moonlighting automatic.
yeah.
And
I
it
see the
it
buttons. Yeah.
it defaults to that when you don't do anything else.
Mm,
But everything else on it is manual. So instead of having to program everything, I can switch from one thing to another and change the degree of lighting on every channel manually, easily, and it'll stick for the
nice.
day until I push that power button up on the upper right, the circle with the line through it. If
Yep.
I push that, it goes back to the default setting. You can
Yeah, I do like
also,
lights that are easy like this.
yeah, you can also program it for like every possible setting if you want to, but I
Yeah.
don't need to. Now the button next to that, see on the left there's one that looks like the sun.
Yep.
When you push that, it changes the color of the light. And
Oh, wow.
and what you'll see in the other pictures I shared in the other album, I can have it all red, all blue, all pink, all orange, all yellow, all green, like 6 or 8 different
And
colors.
this is
And
a cool
and
light for horses, maybe not like coral or plants or anything, but for a
mhm.
tank that's just seahorses, they can get some different stuff, right?
Yeah, and it's got, I think it is full spectrum too. So I
Oh,
mean, you can
gotcha.
use it for corals, but it's got a million colors to it. So anyway, so I can push that and
Sorry.
change the color. Every time I push it, it changes the color of the lights. And if I want to get out of that, I just push that power button and it automatically goes back to that daytime. Now
Nice.
then, when you go under the round buttons where it says clock, up, down, all that other stuff. Okay, so you'll see there's across the first line like sunrise, sunset, clouds, lightning. And
Yep.
that's like the same thing. You can push one of those and it'll go on that program until you turn it off, and then it defaults back to your daytime one. Now, what I really like about it is if you notice the channels red, green, and blue and
Yep.
white on the far left. Okay, so during the daytime, I can change the intensity of any of the lighting and it'll hold it. So I
Oh,
don't
so
have
like if you
So I
want
don't
less
have to
green.
program
Okay.
it. Yeah, so I can put it on the day program, and when it runs on the day program, it runs at 100%.
Mm-hmm.
But you can scale down using those buttons so that once my lighting is on, I can adjust it manually and it'll stick for the day.
That's nice.
Whereas
Yeah.
on my old one of the current orbit light is what I was using before, and all of that kind of stuff, you had to manually program it in and save it, and it was a pain in the butt.
I hear you.
Whereas this one, it'll run on this default program, which I like, but I can adjust it from there and it'll stay.
I love that. And are you just showing us more
So
like
this
the
is the
actual
light.
light?
Yeah, so this is the
Yeah.
actual light. So this was before, I put it up.
Oh,
And
I don't know what I did.
and then yeah, so if you go to my other albums, yeah. So go to
This one
albums.
now? Okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
go to albums. And
That looks
then
like the right
I
one.
think that's one, the Christmas decor, new display tank. Okay. So this was, if you want to show, so this is what their tank looks like now with the new decor in it after I took out the Christmas and put in the new stuff. So if you go back a little bit,
Oh, sorry.
you can see, yeah, this is showing the light. Oh, so that's what it looks like now. That's all their new stuff in there. So yeah, it looks really bright.
It's so colorful.
Like
I love it.
Disneyland. Yeah. But as you scroll through, like I was talking about, you can see I took a picture of each kind of light, set it. So see how I did all red. I could do all green. I could do all blue. Okay, so
And the blue, it glows.
yeah, some of the stuff glows in the blue lighting. See, that's like it just has so many options of color to choose. But what I was leading to when I was talking about Dandy and how he looks, and now watching what happened today, I kind of have a theory on the color. But you've seen Dandy before. Everyone's seen Dandy. Look how red he's looking now
Yeah.
compared
That's
to how he
interesting.
usually looks. And when you look at him next to the other seahorses, none of the other seahorses are turning red. They're not turning like he is. But remember how dark he is in color. And I have a theory from watching him and the way he changed today. I remember us talking, and I think Chris Carey was on one time. We were talking about seahorse coloring and breeding for color and that sort of thing.
Yep.
What is it that seahorses have allowing them to change color? Chromospheres, something?
Yeah, it's
Chromophore.
melatonin and
Who probably knows? Whatever that's
The
called.
chromatophores.
chromatophore.
Chromatophores. Okay. So what I'm thinking is that individual seahorses all have a range of those as far as what
Exactly.
they're capable of becoming. And so
Okay.
some seahorses
Can you
might
go back
be lighter
Can you go
in
back for a
color,
moment? Can you go back
but
Go back to what?
the color that when he's the red color?
the red color.
The video or
No,
this
showing
one?
him red. There you go, right there,
Okay.
probably.
Okay.
I know this seahorse. I've never seen him in person, but I've seen a number of photos. This seahorse is normally a dark brown. And what's
Yep.
happening is she's changing the light. He's turning red. Think about
Yeah,
that.
but I have a question for you,
And
Cheryl.
see,
Is he
my
actually,
point.
wait, hang on. Is he turning red or is the
Mhm.
lighting making him appear red? Is it reflections or is the seahorse actually changing color?
Usually, in my experience, I could take a seahorse that changes color like this, move them to a different tank, and they will retain the color unless something startles them.
You can
So
tell because look at him in a picture with another seahorse that's not red.
right.
And the point I'm making is I think what it is every seahorse has a range of those chroma whatever. I'm sorry.
Chromatophores.
Yeah, okay, chromatophores that they can go within that range, but they cannot be out of that range.
I
Now,
absolutely agree.
if
And I think it
you
depends on the
expose,
species.
probably, and if you expose a seahorse to colors that are within their range, they're likely to match it or try
Yeah.
to, and the
Yep.
ones that aren't will not. And
I
so
agree.
when I'm putting, dialing up the yellow lighting in the tank, the seahorses in my tank that are more white, like Sadie, or lighter color, more yellow based, will tend to get brighter in their range of the chromatophores. They will look yellower, they'll turn yellower because they can. The seahorses that cannot, like Dandy, is not programmed to be those colors, so he doesn't respond to them. But when I introduced the color that was within his range, it encouraged him to become that color.
Yep.
Whereas
Well, that's
the
what
other
Cheryl was saying too,
seahorses
is she
aren't
can make,
responding. They're not responding to the red. They're staying. Now they look more drab because that's
interesting.
not their color range. So I'm interested because this is regular lighting, right? You can see the picture red. The lighting is not red.
Huh.
But I had the red light turned on for a little bit. So he was exposed to it.
Yep.
I think he picked up, like kind of like me, a light bulb went on, like, oh, red is a color I can be.
Maybe.
Something but it's just something that occurred to me. And now I got to experiment with the light
Yep.
because I have so many color ranges and see how they respond, and see what happens based on that. But the thing is, Dandy's always been pretty, like you said. He has the markings and the pretty zebra markings, but he's
Yep.
always been dark. And when the other seahorses look bright light colors, they range whites to yellows generally, and pale beige, brown. Nobody's as dark as Dandy. But when Dandy got exposed to the different light range,
He changed.
started to shine in the tank and come into his own, and the other ones weren't doing that. And that's when it came to me. I'm like, they probably all have a range that they can be,
Yep.
and they won't respond outside of that range.
Maybe he thinks he's a peacock now.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, no.
Well, you do have him in Disneyland, so
Yeah.
It's like the picture I sent you of the 8-day-old hippocampus combs that is definitely very stunning yellow. When I first started working with combs and experimenting, and before I really had an idea of what I was doing, they were all dark brown and half that size.
Mm-hmm.
Now all of a sudden they're twice the size and have beautiful colors when they're just a few days old.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of it has to do with experimenting as you're doing now with lighting,
Mm-hmm.
because there's certain colors that are going to they're going to want to match or they're going to want to disappear into.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had some of my best success using a combination of blues and whites with a little bit of intermittent red to achieve the colors.
Mm-hmm.
And
And I think it's a combination, right? So we're talking here. Anybody keeping seahorses knows there's likely a combination.
Mm-hmm.
Lighting absolutely plays a part. And actually, I would like to know, Holly, as you're experimenting,
Mm-hmm.
how they react to, say, the lightning storm or the cloudy day or whatever.
Yeah.
Because I have told you guys before, I had a case where my original seahorses that had already given me 2 or 3 batches of fry, I put a new light on the tank because I was growing macros.
Mm-hmm.
It was a brighter light. It had more depth, or I can't even remember the word that you use to how far the light goes into the bottom of the tank into the water. But it was so bright that when I turned it on, the seahorse ended up having a miscarriage. The male seahorse lost his fry because it was hectic to him. So I'm curious how they respond to those settings.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely think color changing in seahorses. I agree completely
Mm-hmm.
with your chromatophore theory. That each species, each seahorse even has a range of colors that they can change if they want to. But I think it depends on lighting,
Mm-hmm.
diet,
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
surroundings. There's so many things. Like you have seahorses at
Yeah.
home and you change the light and they don't turn red, don't get upset. Is all I'm saying. But
let me
Well, it's
let me
interesting to me because my former light has settings for, I use a lot of times on that, I use the cloudy day for taking pictures because it was a more yellow lighting and it brought out their yellows. Lightning, I've used all those things. They usually have bright stuff in the tank, so none of that's changed. I never saw Dandy turn red until the
until this
tank
light.
was completely red, the red
Interesting.
light. So he didn't. And I don't know if it's a conscious decision, like that they realize it, or if it's something within their. But something about having like the room is red now here where I am
Yep.
because red Christmas lights. There was something about when the tank was that color, even though it was only a minute, because I was changing through the colors to see what they looked like. So I didn't leave it red. He saw it red.
okay,
Something about the
let me interject
redness.
something real quick, Holly, because
Mhm.
there was a scientific research study done a number of years ago, and what they were literally doing was using different wavelengths of light and basically
Wavelengths.
applying the light just to one small portion of the seahorse. And what they
Mhm.
found is the seahorse would change color where the light was applied, but not
Wow.
Interesting.
body. And
Oh my gosh.
that really threw me through. This was a scientific study that was done, and what they
Yeah, I'm
found
really interested in that
it's
now.
not a mental process. They were saying that it's actual physiological process where the
Interesting.
chromatophores on the seahorse are light sensitive versus the seahorse itself being light sensitive, light
Well,
Uh-huh.
sensitive.
and the reason that's so interesting to me is because they can change color, like they can make themselves change color
Yeah,
to
they do
camouflage.
based
Yeah.
on
But
emotion and
that's
other
but
things too.
right, but that's interesting that maybe they were,
Well,
made to
think about it
actually
from a
change
yeah.
subconsciously
Think
also.
about it from a survival
I gotta
perspective.
run real quick
If a
because my
seahorse is
light's
swimming, if a seahorse is
supposed
swimming
to be
between
changing
Okay, wait, wait,
colors.
wait, wait, wait. Time out, time out.
I'll
Holly,
be
I
right
heard
back.
you. You'll be right back. Go ahead, Cheryl.
Okay. If a seahorse is swimming through a highlight area, and one side of it is dark because there's plants, and what they found was the seahorse would actually change colors to blend in with the area that they were in. but it's not. I don't think it's a mental process. It's a based on what the study said. It's an actual physiological process where the chromatophores actually respond to the different lighting. And Randy,
Interesting.
you have something to add to that.
Who it is? What'd you say? Who has something to add to it, Cheryl?
No, I'm just saying, I remember that study, and I remember,
Oh,
and they actually had photographs. They actually had actual, not photographs, but actual videos of the changes that they were
wow.
using. It was, I just sat there and with my jaw down to my knees.
And
watching.
Ray, I do want to read Alicia. I want your take on this, Ray, all of what we're discussing. And I know you're helping in the comment section answering questions, but any thoughts about this? Like whether the seahorse
When
changes
it comes
color?
to lights, I have no experience that way at all.
Gotcha. Okay, well, Alicia asked, can a seahorse turn completely orange? That's her first question.
If you, well, the picture that I sent Holly earlier today of the 8-day-old combs, it's borderline orange already at that point. And in terms of will the other one turn to match it, it depends on the species and their ability, because
They're
different
chromatophores.
species have different markings, different stripes. So it's going to depend. They probably will never look the same, first of all. And in terms of them being able to accept each other's behavior, again, it depends on the species and how closely related they are. Hippocampus combs typically will complete an egg transfer, will hitch, but they're also considered a reef-dwelling species, as opposed to Hippocampus erectus, which basically do all their courting and egg transfers in the water column. And at this point, I cannot imagine. I can see where Reedi and erectus would interbreed because they're live in close proximity. But when you get some of the other species, Hippocampus zebra, imagine trying to get that. It's a deep water seahorse. Imagine it trying to propagate with a cuda, who's going to be on the surface. So they may have some similarities, but the probability of them ultimately reproducing is going to be much slimmer.
Right. And so back to the first question, can a seahorse turn completely orange? Absolutely they can.
Yeah.
The CUDA that I
Depends
got
on
from
the
Dan
seahorse
and
and
the
its
species.
individual capabilities. Not all seahorses have the capability to get all colors. Some will never get any coloration other than their basic brown black situation, very dark color. And others do have the capability, but they're not going to exhibit it unless their natural
Chromatophores.
instinct is to produce those colors so that they feel safe in their environment.
Right.
And some of the things that were experimented with, there was an overseas company that was, they experimented by painting the tank blue.
Yep.
And it wasn't, not any blue would work. They had to have a certain shade. And basically, what he told me is it was more like a sky blue. Now they had a number that they used for the different colors that they played around with, but I wouldn't remember now anyway. But he described it as a sky blue. So I used what I thought was closest I could get to a sky blue, and it's lighter than what a lot of people think. And I was able to induce some better colors out of the Reedi, but not the erectus. And to do it, I had to take all rock out of the tank, because if you have rock in the tank, they tend to go dark.
Gotcha. Sorry, I'm reading the comments, but no, I agree. It depends completely on the species, on the particular seahorse. Like I said, Dan sent me absolutely brightest yellow and brightest orange colored CUDA, and they stayed that color and never changed just because of the species and the way they were raised and etc. But I've also gotten very bright orange seahorses from Ocean Rider that are now like a light pinkish brown. You know what I mean? So Depends on the decor. So many things play into this.
Well,
Yeah.
years ago, I had a bright red, what was sold to me as a wild caught Hippocampus erectus, and I'm talking. I named her Ruby because she was brilliant red, and she never changed color. But I think that may have been she was actually possibly a Redi erectus hybrid that had come along, and she she was just very different than any of the rest in many
Yep,
respects.
and what I would say too is we're talking about the ways to make a seahorse change color or why they do. But the thing is, I also think it depends on their personality. Like, think about just humans. A stronger seahorse is going to keep their color no matter what happens. Whereas, a more timid seahorse, like my male that miscarried when I changed the lighting, it depends on their personality too. Melinda wanted to know, is it true that some seahorses will change colors to match decor in the tank?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Ray, why do they change,
And it's
try to
within their
match?
range.
Well, it's just like any other seahorse. They have the ability to change some markings in some cases, or make markings that they do have and you may not see. But under the right conditions, they can make those markings show up again. And it's all done in order to make them feel secure in their environment.
They're camouflaging. They're
Right.
trying to blend into their environment. And that's like, if you ever try to buy a seahorse with Siri, oh, I love Siri. If you guys don't know what Siri is, of course, I don't have a picture available and ready. But Siri is when they have crazy hair like mine, and they have hair. Literally, it looks like growing off
Siri,
of them.
Kelly.
I've never had one keep it long term.
Me either. That's what I was going to say, Ray. That's what I was going to say, though, is that
They
it's
don't feel the
beautiful.
need to
I
have
love it. Right, when they don't need. In fact, this seahorse up in the upper, I think it's
Well,
right
and-
on your end. But this is
And I think
Lucy's.
when you're
Hang
talking
on, Holly.
about the
Hang on one
camouflage
second.
thing,
Hang on one second. The yellow seahorse that we have as a decoration on the video, that's Siri, where it's little spikes coming off the seahorse, and it's beautiful. And that's Lucy's seahorse, by the way. Go ahead, Holly.
So basically, it's like I was discovering with Dandy today, though. It's within their range.
Yeah.
So I have some seahorses, that are lighter colored, and those ones will turn white to match a white decoration. Dandy is not capable of turning white.
Yep. So he always.
But he is capable of turning red, and they are not. They're not dark enough to have that. So I think you can kind of tell by a seahorse's shade, maybe, what tendencies
can
they
do,
have.
right.
Like if
I
they're
agree.
if they're a lighter colored seahorse, you can probably get them to turn the yellows, the whites. Yeah, a darker seahorse might tend towards more like I've had a purple seahorse before.
Oh, me too. Me
Tending
too.
towards the purple, the black, the red, the darker colors. They might have more. And some seahorses, I don't know. I mean, I have to start watching them now and see what they do. Some probably have a wider range than other ones.
But that's you're making an excellent point, Holly, because some people will get a seahorse and it's black, and they're like, I want to make it turn yellow, so I'm going to put blue up. I'm going to put decorations in. I'm not going to use rock. And sometimes, the seahorse that likes to be dark is only going to turn red or purple or black, whereas the lighter ones will do different. And I do again think it depends on species, because like I can't imagine a black Barbori. I can't imagine that because they're so light because of where they come from. And I'm curious, Heather, I know you're still in the audience. With the Siri thing, not trying to jump around, but with the Siri thing, it's the same thing as the color. When I had, I'm sorry, I keep forgetting my video. When I had a fry get the most beautiful Siri I've ever seen, and it was the most yellowest seahorse ever, right? This little fry.
Mhm.
And none of the other seahorses had Siri. It was just this one. He
Had
was the
that.
only one. And
Mhm.
Holly, you've had that too?
Yes.
So, like, how do you explain that though? Like, if we're talking about, yes, you can change the color of a seahorse by the lighting, food, and decorations, for sure.
Mhm.
But they
Mhm.
only can change based on the chromatophores and the range that they're able to change. Why
Mhm.
does one seahorse that
Mhm.
comes from the same batch of seahorses able to turn white or whatever, and the others aren't,
Doesn't have
or
the
able
same
to grow
comfort
Siri?
zone.
What?
Somebody
So
Doesn't
they're
have the
needs
just
same comfort
stronger.
zone.
So they're
Like
just
they
they're bosses.
they'll all have certain personal characteristics, and what one is comfortable with, even though it's in the same tank and from the same brood, doesn't mean that the one next to it is going to feel the same way.
Mhm.
So it's like me and my siblings. I'm the boss, and they're all wimps, right? Just kidding. But no, that's interesting.
I've seen
Yeah,
Siri.
yeah. No, when I got Candy, she came with Siri when I first got her. And her fry, some of them had Siri, one of them had a lot of Siri, but they all lost it, and she lost hers. Other than sometimes they have little whiskers,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
like Siri for longer or off and on. But I haven't seen a lot of Siri other than the one that had it that ended up losing it. So I think it'd be interesting to figure out,
What causes
what
it?
Siri is about and how how
See,
that
I got.
is physically.
We have
It's
to get.
a mystery, I think.
We have to get Dan in here. He's never going to share his secrets. Neither will Heather about how to make the piebald seahorses. But maybe they'll share how they encourage Siri or color change. Because I think you're right about everything you've said about spectrum, chromatophores, everything. But
Mhm.
also, well, no, I'm sorry. What Cheryl said about spectrum and Ray said about, the sky blue and et cetera, and the
Mhm.
certain colors
Mhm.
that can really, truly make a seahorse bring out its best, I don't
Mhm.
know.
And
Cheryl, were
what,
you going to
like
say
I
something?
said, I've never had lighting where I could have it green
Oh, why am I?
or or pink light or all these colors that I have now. What are they going to do? What are the reactions going to be to it?
It'll be
I haven't
interesting.
had the opportunity to see that before because I've only had regular aquarium lighting. Now they're going to be exposed to colors that they wouldn't be normally. Is that, going to influence them? Like if I leave their light on green for a half an hour, what's going to happen when I turn back? Because that was what influenced Dandy.
Hmm.
And
Yep. And
I only had the red light on for maybe a minute, 2 minutes, and went
well,
back
okay.
to normal. But he started turning red. None of the other seahorses did, just him.
You
Okay,
have
so
to remember.
real quick, Cheryl, hang on. Seahorse Corner said Alyssa told her it depends on the batch. Some have tons of Siri, others have none. It's hit or miss. Each brood with even with the same parents. And Amazon research for ornamental fishes. Hey, if you ever want to come on Wine Wednesday and chat with us, we love experts in here. We'd love to have you on. Please contact me. We'd love to have you jump in. But he or she said, not to be technical, many of these traits are polygenic.
Exactly.
Did I say it right?
Mhm.
Look at your actual brothers and sisters. Are you all the same height, hair color,
Mhm.
etc.? Exactly.
Mhm.
It.
Yep.
I think well, actually, Ray, do you think that Siri, I know we're jumping around, but do you think that Siri is something that a seahorse does to camouflage with like algae and such, so it's a weaker seahorse, or do you think it's a boss seahorse?
A
It's a
what?
genetic.
A weaker or what?
I need to stop saying Siri because my Siri keeps going off. Okay, sorry. Um,
It's going to be genetic. On any genome, there's a lot of genetic information that never gets used. It depends on how the different uh, base genes pair up with each other. And as such, you can see all kinds of different things. It's like my sister is big busted. I'm not.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just serious.
You know.
I'm the muscular one. I'm the taller one, and she is shorter, heavier set. My brother, on the other hand, my sister and I both wear glasses. My brother has never worn a pair of glasses in his life. He got the good eyes, and this is you have when you start looking at it from even in your own family, you have to realize how much genetic variability there is within any species. So you can't. It's very difficult to pinpoint what makes Siri. Well, that Seahorse happened to have two sets for genome to make Siri, and those two happened to be in the right place at the right time, and they got Siri. But
So it's all scientific, but
Even
why don't they
twins.
keep it? Dang it.
Hey, Kelly, even
Yeah.
twins.
I have twins that are completely
I've got
different.
twin brothers and twin sisters, and none of them are anything like the other.
Yep.
yeah,
And my twins are fraternal, so literally it was like two separate pregnancies at the same time, but they
Another
are
cool thing.
absolutely different. What? Oh, go ahead, Holly.
So this is a cool book that Scott gave me for Christmas that I'm really enjoying. It's a really in-depth book, basically an encyclopedia of seahorses.
Nice.
And it has got tons of scientific information.
Nice.
A lot of people are like Deborah Corker and Chris Carey both said it's their Seahorse Bible.
Really? And who's the author?
This is Sarah Laurie.
Sarah. I knew it. Yep.
Yeah.
I know her actually.
And yeah,
Yep.
incredible pictures. I haven't got that part yet. I'm not even quite halfway through. There's so much in here, but it's got a whole section on species and how to identify each one with close to about a life-size picture of each. There's 42 species in here.
Yep.
And the status of conservation, and there's a good
Really
picture.
good book.
West African seahorse. This is.
Ooh.
This is it's just I'm really loving it. It's
West
got
African? Is it a
a
capensis?
family tree. It's got a seahorse family tree listing, how they look at that detailed family tree of all the types of seahorses and which ones.
Wow.
It's interesting reading about them because seahorses developed, I guess, very separately, but came to the same traits. So it's not necessarily like they all evolved the same way, but they adapted to their surroundings
Absolutely.
and came up with the same results. And
Well,
so they
and
have
this
a hard time telling which ones are actually really within one species.
Yep.
Like, are they separate species, or are they really one species with with some different variations? So it's interesting reading, very scientific, and
well, and
really
I do know it's important, like the speciation and for conservation reasons. I understand it. Graham Short, go watch my interview with him years ago, but it was fascinating how they do speciation. But I think you're onto something. I've said that the whole time. It's just like humans. We all come from one. You know what I mean? Like just they went their separate ways. They're in separate parts of the ocean. They adapt. They grow different things. They change different colors to blend into their environment. And they act different. That's why combs act different from barbori, act different from. But yeah, I think they all come from. Go ahead, Sean.
Gomez Gerardo, who actually designed the Baltimore Aquarium and used to own and operate Draco Marine, recently published a paper where he was showing speciation within seahorse. And it's things like areas where there were mudslides that blocked off the river so they could no longer have contact between both sides of the ocean, created speciation. And he went through a whole
Mhm.
list of different things and how it occurred and what caused it.
Mhm.
And most of it ultimately comes down to a natural disaster or
Selection.
some kind of natural event happens that blocks off one part of a species, and therefore one may stay the same. The other part that got into the new area have to change and adapt to be able to survive.
Mhm.
And as such,
Mhm.
Yep.
they change over time.
Yeah,
Cool
there's a lot
complex.
of that in this book. They talk about that. And yeah, it's very good. And I got a few other ones. This one is
Show
just
us.
all pictures, and it's
Love
all
it.
giant pictures. So there was one I found in here. Now, let's see if I can go back to it. I had it marked. Oh,
While
this
you're
one.
looking, I would say
I was
Chris.
thinking maybe I should put this one up on the wall, like next to the
Yeah.
seahorse tank, so they know what to do.
I don't think that's
Love it.
quite the stimuli that they need.
Right. But I was gonna say Chris Carey showed us some of these books. I think he even had Sarah's. But
Yeah,
did you want to show us anything else, Holly?
that's very good. So then there was this, and this is a kid's book, and it's kind of cool. It's made for probably a first grader or so, second grade to read, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's got some cool pictures and stuff, but some of the stuff is in here is just wrong.
No
doubt.
I hate
Like
that.
there's this page is talking about, it says males and females often change colors and dance to show interest. Then the two twist their tails together. And the picture is two females, obviously.
Minor details.
So I mean
They
there's
were
stuff like
trying.
that in it, but yeah, it's good for little kids, I think.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and then they say the largest seahorse is the pot-bellied seahorse. You can see on this, which is 14 inches. But isn't it engines? Is it
No,
engine?
it's what's the Pacific seahorse, guys?
Engines, right?
Is
Yeah,
it
hippocampus
I
no,
engines.
think
there's
engine.
They grow
I
to
swear
12
that's
plus inches. Actually, abs are considered to technically, at total maturity, be a little bit larger than the engines, but they're very close in terms of size. They grow over 12 inches.
So is that a
huh.
pot-bellied seahorse? Is that the same thing?
No,
If so, they're right.
potbellies are Australian. And they have the huge pouches.
Yeah, they're bigger, wider, right,
Yeah.
But they're
Ray?
not the largest. They're not 14 inches, are they?
Yes.
Are they? Oh, so the
Yes.
book is right.
I feel like there is. I don't know. I'm not going
Okay.
to say anything because I'm
Hippocampus
probably wrong.
engines are the largest Pacific coast seahorse, and
Ah,
basically their home range is from roughly San Francisco down to the Galapagos Islands. Their typical top range, although I'm sure, like all fish, they grow throughout their life, so you can find some that are bigger. They're typically about 12 inches. Hippocampus abdominalis is an Australian species, and they can go to well over 12 inches, is my understanding. Ray would know more because he has worked with them.
None
Ray,
of
are
mine got that large.
none of yours got that large, but
No.
as far as you
But
know, are
is
they
that
the
true
largest
though?
seahorse?
I guess
Do they have
some
the
made it to
capability?
about 12, some 10.
But are they the largest seahorse in your knowledge?
As far as I know.
Yeah.
But
And well,
then
and it
again,
may
I don't know all species, but I'm just going by what I've read.
Yeah.
that's really interesting
So
too,
maybe
though,
it's
because
right
wait,
then. Maybe
wait.
that's true.
They're kept at a colder temperature. So in my small brain, I would think they would grow slower and less. You know what I mean? So it's really interesting that they grow larger quicker. You know what I mean?
Well,
At a lower temp.
depends on. It's like what's the difference between a northern and a southern erectus?
Right.
Well, there's a huge difference, and a lot of it has to do with temperature and conditions, but they're still the same species. The thing is, you've got to remember that, yeah, they'll probably grow faster in warmer weather, but a lot of it's going to have to do with diet. And what happens when
Yeah.
the spring comes and there's massive proliferation of shrimp that start dying off as the freezes start. So there's a lot of variables that will impact growth in any species.
That's
Makes
why
sense.
they even look different.
And real quick, guys, Alicia wanted to know. Holly's got to check her light. Got it. What's the best filter to have on your tank for seahorses?
A big
Alicia,
one.
what do you mean? What do you mean by filter? Is my first question. What do you mean by that? And Ray, I think you answered her in the chat. What was your thoughts?
Basically, you need to select one that you're going to be comfortable servicing because, for instance, if you pick a canister filter, they're a brute to do frequent cleaning on. And if you're not going to do frequent cleaning, then your water quality is going to rapidly deteriorate. So you need something that you can clean fairly easy and do it very frequently. And you need something that's going to be sufficient for the system that you have set up. And everybody's system is different, and your feeding habits are different. So it's hard for me or anybody else to tell you for a specific system, this is what you need.
Right.
You have to research and see what people use with the various things and then make a selection and hope you've made it right. And you'll know if it's right if you never have any problems.
Well, I don't like that answer, Ray.
Well, that's
Hopefully
why we
it's
want
good.
to come up with a system to test, like that free chlorine test.
Yep. But Alicia, I would say 36-gallon tank. What we need to know to actually answer that question, like he said, every system's different, is what other equipment do you have? Do you have a skimmer attached, or are you going to do a sump? If you're not, I'm doing it all in one. You don't have to have a sump to keep seahorses. It's better, but you don't have to. But in my all-in-one, I have a skimmer, I have a UV, I have a sock, I have K1, I've got a char chamber, Robert King char chamber, using aquachar. So it just kind of like saying, and it's not a bad question. I'm so glad for your question. Thank you. But just saying, what's the best filter? It depends on what else you have going on with the tank. Are you using rock in the system? Do you plan to have sand? Unfortunately, there's like 5 million questions that go along before we can give an answer.
Yeah.
There is in Facebook group, Seahorse Sources group. I'll show you real quick. Let me share this. I know you want to say something, Cheryl. Give me 1 second. I'm just going to show her real fast. No, well, 1 minute. All right. So if you're on Facebook and you search Seahorse Sources group, you guys are seeing this, right?
Yes.
And you go to the files section.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of great information. Wine Wednesday, look at that. But there is a very good thing that Dan, excuse me, I'm all colded up. Dan from Seahorse Source made this, and I can't show it to you because it's a PDF. So when you click on it, it'll download. But it's the basics for a tank setup of seahorses, and it tells you why you want this or why you want that, and how much turnover you need, and why seahorses don't need low flow, and why you need to make sure your filter and your power heads equal this much flow. And it's just a great guide, in my opinion. So
Yeah.
go ahead, Cheryl.
I think mechanical filtration is probably one of the things you really want to concentrate on when you're setting up for seahorses, because they really are a high bio load on a tank, I think, because of the way they eat, and getting that uneaten food out, I think, is probably one of the keys with them. I mean, I do a lot of biofiltration, but I do more mechanical filtration on my seahorse tank than I would in other types of fish tanks.
Holly, real quick, what's the difference between bio and mechanical filtration for anyone new?
Well, the biomedia is going to be like your rock, your sand, things that are, converting, your ammonia to nitrite to nitrate. It's that chemical process. Whereas mechanical is going to be like your filter pads, filter socks.
Yep.
I have like an internal filter now on mine to pull crap out of the water, like uneaten food and stuff. You have a lot of that with seahorses, I think, that you probably don't deal with other types of fish, in my opinion,
Absolutely.
from my experience. So I would say don't skimp on the mechanical side of your filtration. You're going to find out that it's pretty important with seahorses.
One
Cheryl,
thing,
go ahead. You wanted to say something.
basically, when I first started out, I used exclusively the fluid canister filters. And one of the reasons I chose those is they have multiple trays that nest inside the canister. And you can use charcoal, you can use carbon in one, you can use filter pads in another, you can use active biomedia, whether it be rubble rock or ceramic balls, whatever. So it gave me a really nice broad spectrum of filtration, which I found very impressive in their design. I also never had one crap out on me, bless their hearts. So Blueville 207 is a very good canister filter. The biggest thing you have to watch out for is if you're using filter pads and different types of biomedia, you're going to have to clean that on a regular basis. Usually,
Yeah, like Ray said,
yeah, exactly.
just when you do your water change, just change your canister. I mean, make sure you clean it. Every time you do a water change, clean it and change the media if you need to. Make sure you rinse out the floss and such, because I love canister filters. I
I
think
don't
Heather
think
uses
that's
them
frequent
too.
enough.
I
Okay,
would
hang
honestly
on, hang on.
every day the
Okay,
pad.
you would go in your
Every day.
canister filter every
Oh
day?
yeah. I would. I'll tell you why. Because I used to use canister filter when I first started with seahorses. And the thing about canister filters that I found is, in order to clean it and maintain it, you have to take it apart. You have to snap off the lid and
Right.
get in there. And like Cheryl said, there's layers of stuff in there. But you tend to get, at least I do, you tend to get
Lazy. Yeah.
lazy because it's a process. It's so much work to do all that. And I feel like I probably wasn't the first time around when I had seahorses, I had canister filter, and I was doing weekly water changes in the canister, but it would be full of crap. If I waited a week, honestly, I change my filter socks every day.
Yeah.
Not
Really?
necessarily because I have to. Maybe I could do it every 3 days, twice a week or something. But if I don't make it routine, I won't do it.
You're making me feel like
Oh,
crap,
I
Holly.
need to make a routine for me to stick with it, because it's got to stick with me. And what I've found, like even in my freshwater tank, it uses filter pads, and the way it is, it's got a compartment on top with a wheel, the bio wheel
Yep.
thing.
Yep.
If I don't rinse out that pad, the crap in it, every few days, it starts to overflow.
Gee, Holly, what are
And
you doing? Wait, I want to make one point real quick. The reason that we're talking about all this stuff, the reason that a seahorse tank gets so much gunk is because you feed them more than fish. And I'm going to let Ray talk about that in a second. But I would say Holly just made me look like a terrible seahorse keeper, because I will tell you, even in the 40-gallon all-in-one, I changed my socks. If I had a canister on there, it would only get cleaned
yeah.
when I do water changes once
When
weekly.
Heather made a
And
good
mine
point,
is never gunked up like that.
the reason I do that, Heather just said the same thing. The everyday,
Okay.
and
I'm listening.
here's why. What came to me was because I was doing it every few days, and I posed a question once on an aquarium group: how dirty do you let the socks get before you change them out? And then somebody pointed out to me, it doesn't matter. You have to change them out, fast, regularly, because if you don't, even though the crap is in the sock, it's
It's
still
still
in
in the
the
water.
It's in
water.
the tank, yeah.
So at certain
That's what Ray.
points,
That's what
it's in
Ray
the
always
tank.
says. That's what Ray always says about cleanup
Yeah.
crew. Yeah, it's eating the crapping
Yeah,
crap. So I
Hey guys,
get it.
but
a blind admission. Guess how many filter socks, 100 micron filter socks I have? These are the large size.
How
Come
many,
on,
Cheryl?
draw a number.
100.
Not that bad, but close. 50.
I've got 4, and I
I
change them
have
weekly. I'm a bad Seahorse keeper,
I
but
have
hey,
14 socks, 15 socks. I have 2 tanks that have filtered socks. I change every morning. That's part of my routine is I change the filter socks and I empty out the skimmer, rinse it, wipe it out, put it back together. That's my routine every morning.
oh,
Once a week, the socks go into the washing machine and
bleach,
then
right?
hang to dry because they have to hang for 2 days, for to me to make sure the chlorine's out and they're all dry. But it's a routine for me because the daily thing keeps me in the habit. If I did it every 3 days or whatever, I'd have to put it on a calendar because I'd forget.
Yeah.
What day is
Yeah.
it? Is how many days has it been? Oh, they can go one more day. What it keeps me on top of it, and I need that. The thing with the canister filters, you don't see it, you don't think
Right.
about it, and it's a pain in the ass to do.
I was
So
gonna
that's why
say,
the canister filters did not work for me was because of the extra labor and not out of sight, out of mind, and
so in other words, what we're saying is if you're not lazy like us, canister filters are fine. But if you're gonna forget or just think, oh, I can go another day or another week, maybe don't do that. But Alicia, I'm guessing you're on it and that you want to keep your seahorses healthy. Just make sure to whatever schedule you get on that's working,
Yeah.
make sure to stick to it.
And
Because
I'd
it is
say
easy.
check it in 3 days. If you're just starting out, whatever, and you're running a canister filter, check it in 3 days and see how dirty your pads or floss are.
Yep.
And see
And then
if they
figure
need
it
to,
out.
and then you'll get to know what your schedule needs to be. If it's like for kind of like Ray says, I have internal filters now that have the sponge material that catches debris and stuff. And it's about every 2 to 3 days that I want to take it apart and rinse it out because there's stuff in there.
I would say too, though. Wait. I would say too, because I don't want anybody to be like, "Oh my gosh, keeping seahorses is so difficult." All the stuff they're talking about, you guys. I do my stuff once a week. They're done. If I see a problem, that would be different. But I do think it depends on how many seahorses you're keeping and how much water, right?
Mhm,
Because the water volume matters. As
mhm,
long as you've got more water volume than necessary, you've got a little more leeway, is my opinion.
mhm.
And I keep Aquachar in my socks. It's in a container, but it's part of my filtration, right? So
Do you put it in the sock then? In your filter sock?
I
Like,
used to, I should say. I used to until I got the Robert King char chamber. But before I had that, yes, I put Aquachar in a
interesting.
container.
See, I keep Aquachar also in my sump, but where I have it
Yep.
is next to the pump, where it goes back into the tank. So I'm wondering,
See,
where is the best place to put it, you think?
well, I do want to announce also that we'll be doing an Aquachar giveaway. We just hit 3,500 subscribers on YouTube. Woo! Thank you. And Brian from Aquachar will be giving away some Aquachar on this channel, likely next week, maybe the following. But maybe we should ask him to come back and talk to us and ask him some more
Yeah.
questions about where to put it.
Yeah.
So I'll ask
I
him
can
if
see
he can do
depending
that.
on the type of filtration you have. It's like me, where I'm running, large tanks with 29-gallon subs. I just but dropped it in the main tank just to see what it would do because I wanted to look at it. But I think it would also do just as well, quite frankly, in a sump. And
Yep. And, go ahead. Sorry.
anybody that's got is looking at raising seahorses, you can raise them with canister filters. You can raise them with wet dry filters. There's no specific filter that necessarily is God. I personally started building my own sumps years ago from my old tanks that I decided were too small for seahorses. And
Right.
so all my sumps are 29-gallon tanks ordered. But it's one of those things where most people aren't as crazy as I am.
You're not crazy. You're efficient, and you learned how to do it. I just always try to play the other end of the spectrum for someone new because everything they're saying is absolutely important. You have water clean. You have to stay on top of this stuff for sure. You can keep seahorses easily. You just got to, as Holly said, check after 3 days, see how bad it's getting, figure out how often you need to change it.
There's
And
different ways to achieve the same results. It's just what works
Absolutely.
best for you.
Yep.
Nothing's worse
And
than
Heather said,
taking a nap. All of a sudden, you're running and you step up and you realize your tank is leaking.
for some reason, Cheryl, you're chipmunking out on us. So I'm not going crazy. But Heather said depends on your feeding practices too. Heather tends to overfeed, working on not overfeeding, but if you do tend to overfeed, you're going to have better maintenance. Absolutely. So like my seahorses, I rarely get to 4 feedings a day. I'll just admit that. They usually get 2, and they're happy and they're healthy and they're fine. I hope Vincent's not watching because he won't send me seahorses then. But I mean, it just depends on your schedule, what you're doing with your seahorses, what your goals are. But definitely, Alicia, if you want to share exactly what your setup is, we can give more advice. Ray, what are your thoughts on all of this?
My thoughts, I posted already. Twice a week, anything that traps food or detritus.
Once a week?
Twice a week.
Twice a week.
Yeah.
Ooh. I'm failing you guys.
That food to be sitting there and decaying. If it's decaying, it's degrading my water quality. And if it's degrading dissolved organics, which it is, then I have a problem with that.
But time out. Wait.
We're not 100% certain that the dissolved organics are the culprit for the disease, but we know that if we control dissolved organics, we don't usually have the problems with the disease. So that means part of that control is doing things like putting the skimmers in, but it also means get it before it needs to be removed with carbon or a skimmer, and that means cleaning out the crap. If you have a canister filter, it doesn't mean you have to clean out the whole filter. You can take apart, just clean the filter pads, put it back. You don't have to clean any media that you have.
Yeah.
Right. Good point.
Eventually, your media may need some cleaning depending on how well the filtration is capturing the crap before it goes on to the other stages. But to me, it's the first stage that I can control the quality of my water, and that's get the stuff out.
And anyone new, actually don't listen to me, because one of the things that Ray pointed out was good. It's that, and Heather pointed out, it depends on how much you feed, and having leftovers and having, overfeeding and over pooping and blah, blah, blah. I have my seahorses figured out, right? So I know what to feed them to where I very rarely even have to remove excess food. So I know what they need each feeding. They eat it all, and I don't have the leftovers. So maybe that
I've
has
never seen seahorses eat all the food. There's particular
there's little
matter
pieces.
that there's pieces.
Call me out some more, Ray.
They're picky.
But this is critical in my opinion that
you're right.
that there's still stuff that needs removing from the system that they're not eating. And so those pieces that are there, plus the micro particles that
That you
come
can't
out when
see.
they masticate the food in their feeding process. That has to be removed also. And
And that sciencey stuff you're talking about when they shoot the stuff out of their gills, right? Or their holes in their head, whatever that's called. What's it called, Cheryl?
Those are the gills.
No, it's
operculum,
it's operculum. That's it. Sorry, go ahead.
that's at the sides, it's not coming out the top of their head.
Yeah.
Why does it
Okay.
shoot straight up? You know what I'm talking about, you guys? When a seahorse eats,
When their
they
heads
see
out of the
food,
water,
and it goes.
Yeah, because that's part of their
it's
gill
coming out of their
structure.
gills.
But
It is their
it's
gills. Okay.
associated when they start. I call it blowing smoke because they're masticating their food. They can't chew it. They can't break it up. So what happens is that crunches down. It's thyroid blowing pushes back in. It's blowing part of the food up out to the top to the gill structure. That's why they're so susceptible to potential problems with that.
Well, that's why everything right. So if you're doing your canister filter, make sure you check your pads and clean them twice weekly. Don't be like me and wait a week. In fact, I might just change my schedule now because I'm thinking, hey, but definitely, overdo it with seahorses. Make sure you have your maintenance schedule really good and you keep the water clean because there's all this stuff you don't see. And as Ray said, seahorses are just more susceptible to problems when the water's not clean, right? All right, guys. Anything else?
The thing is, most people just don't realize how messy of eaters they are, how inefficient their food consumption is when they ingest food, and that is a major that's where most people, I really believe, fail, is they don't understand how much trash they can dump into a tank in a short period of time.
They're dirty. Seahorses are dirty.
No, they're not. Their bodies are clean. It's just that they poop a lot. They poop a lot.
Actually, I've had many seahorses grow algae on themselves. They're dirty. No, I'm just teasing. I'm just teasing around. But Alicia, definitely hit us up on the side. And if you ever want to join in and ask questions live, you are more than welcome. Message me. I'll give you a link. We'd love to, go through your entire setup and help you set up for them. And Heather agrees. Dirty, dirty little critters.
They don't have
for tonight.
They don't have any teeth. They all can do is suck some food in, let it pass through. Their lack of stomach, which is only a GI tract, and most of it's going to come out the other end. It's not their fault.
Yeah. Right. Absolutely. So I think we did a great job showing Holly's lighting and holiday and anything else we got to cover, guys. It's hitting 10 o'clock.
Yes.
I'm going to have to call it.
Holly?
Go ahead.
Are you there?
Yes.
That wooden statue that you have of the male and female seahorse together?
Oh, it's actually resin.
It's resin?
It's not.
I want one so bad. If you ever find another,
what are we talking about?
My friends on the coast sent me that, and I bet they found it. I bet she found it in a gift shop out there. It still had a price tag on it. It was $5.
Wow.
It's just a little resin thing from a gift shop, but it's pretty, huh? Wasn't it cool?
It's gorgeous.
Let me grab it. I'll show
everybody. Grab it and show us real quick before we go. Anybody in the comments, any other questions or anything? We'll be back next week, but we go 2 hours. I gotta call it, guys. I'm so sorry.
I think for people that are lazy like me, then they need to consider in their choice of a filter, consider a filter that attaches to your power heads or wave makers or whatever, so that you just pull it off and stick another one on and change the other one either then or later in the day. It's just so easy to do.
Yes, I'm loving that.
Holly, I want to make you big and show that, so hang on. But Ray, you're talking about the pre-filters?
Yeah,
So you attach the power
pre-filter
Right.
or internal filter like I got. Yeah, I love that thing.
They
It's
don't
been
look
great.
as nice in the
And
tank.
incidentally, I got my other one working right. Remember I said the pump was funny?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I ran it in hot water like I was
Ah,
talking about, and it was fine.
love it. Okay, Holly, what are you showing us real quick?
This is what everybody's been loving. I shared it on my
Oh.
Facebook. It's a little seahorse figure that some friends of mine, my friends that used to live here with us, they lost their
Yep.
house in the fire here. Well, they just bought a house over on the coast and have now gone through an earthquake. They just had an earthquake last week.
Jeez.
But she sent me this for Christmas, and it's just a little resin decoration. It's made in China. It's nothing fancy, but it's just really cute and pretty.
Wait,
It
turn
does
it.
it does look like carved wood.
Okay, hold it still. Don't move. Oh, that's so pretty. I really love it. That is really cool. And you have seahorses now swimming around your room instead of in the tank. They're right there.
Yeah, no, I have a small collection of seahorse figures and things. I have one that's carved out of onyx. I have
Oh, wow.
old plastic one. I have all kinds of little seahorse stuff.
We need to
You
do a
and
show and tell day where we show and tell all our seahorse gear.
Right. By the way,
But
Holly, do you still have any of the necklaces, the pendant things that you made last?
oh yeah.
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Because
do have
I-
plenty of them.
Well, I bought 2 last year, and then I lost them and couldn't find them, so I couldn't give them
Oh
to
no.
this for Christmas. Well, I found them this year as I was cleaning
Yay!
because I put them in a safe place.
Exactly.
Anyway,
I
and I
do
said
too. Safe
in my-
from you.
you can do it. You can make you smell so great, and you don't even have to put on any perfume. And they were just raving about them.
Yeah. So I do have those. I don't really do the business stuff for the seahorses anymore. I focus more on my insurance business. But if you'd like some, you guys can always private message me, and I'll do it with you like
Post some pictures.
that way.
Well, we need to all wear our necklaces next week or something to show them what we're talking about.
I'll pass, thanks.
Ray,
Yeah,
we need
Ray.
to see you in the necklace.
They come in black too. We could make you look macho, Ray.
Macho. There you go.
By the time it would ever get here, I'll be 80.
No, don't say that.
I'll
But,
be 80
okay.
in February,
Seriously, put
so
out
and
there.
it'll probably
Because
take
my
that long to
niece
get
and
across
my
the
sister-
border.
Hang on,
It's
Cheryl.
not-
Hang on just a second. Sure. Guys. Everybody's talking. Ray, I know you were just saying you'll be 80 in February. What day?
28th.
Okay, I'm going to remember
Your
that.
birthday's really close to mine. I'm the 18th.
My son's
You
on the
guys
11th.
remind me. I got to make sure to tell him happy birthday.
And I have a niece that was born on my birthday too.
I'll
Wow.
tell you,
It was due
my
a month later, and
brother.
I told her mother, "There's no way." I said, "You better be ready to go in a month early."
My brother is the 25th, and my best guy friend is the 28th of February.
Wow.
Good month.
Cheryl, go ahead, Ray. Sorry.
I was
Okay.
just
Cheryl,
gonna say, if you still got some, I think my sister would love to have one because she was just she was feeling bad because she couldn't smell nice and didn't have the pendant.
Aw.
Aw. Well, message me, Cheryl, and
Okay.
yeah, I can make arrangements because I have a ton of them. What it is that I just don't have the time to
Yeah.
deal with that
Market
particular
it, right.
business and other stuff I'm doing. But
Well, the thing
but
is,
I'm happy to do that for friends.
I've gotten so many compliments on it because it smells so great, and you can change
That's
change the
cute.
color.
Change
Everybody's
the
like,
colors.
It blends in with your shirt.
Yep.
Yeah.
People
I'm
are
going to
just-
wear mine next week. If you guys don't know what we're talking about, just join us next
Oh,
week. I'll be wearing it.
I'll put mine on too, and maybe
Yeah.
maybe I'll do a thing and people can message me for them, and I can
Absolutely.
do them that way.
Oh,
When
that
you do, Holly,
brings
share
up
it with me and I'll share the link in the description so that
that,
anybody who
All
watches
right.
this
that brings
later
up one other
can,
thing. I
can
may
come.
not make it here next Wednesday because I have
Okay.
surgery on Tuesday. But
Okay.
knowing
Finally,
me, I'm
what?
hard-headed. I'll be here on Wednesday.
I know she'll be here, you guys. Don't worry. But also, don't forget, I will be posting when Dr. Tim is going to come and when Dan is going to come to do the Ask the Source Part 4. So all that's coming up, you guys. But I do have to end it for tonight. It's past 10 now.
Oh yeah.
It's
Let's say
9.
Happy Wine Wednesday, you guys, and
The
happy holidays.
moonlight's on my tank. I went and checked. That's why I've been going to make sure their light's working right. I did have to fix it. The clock had somehow messed up. It was an hour behind. I had to fix that. So
Gotcha. Well, I'm glad they're
It's
okay.
not the clock where Holly is.
It's what?
yeah, it's only 7 here.
Oh, see? Well, I'm sorry, guys. I'm in Indiana. But okay, we'll be back next week. Watch for posts to let you know what weeks we're doing certain things, giveaways, and special guests. But we'll always be here every week either way for you. And Alicia, I hope we see you again. And again, if you want to jump in and talk to us one-on-one, we're here for you. We love that. We love to help newcomers. And we appreciate everyone that comes every week. So let's say Happy Wine Wednesday and see you next week. Happy Wine Wednesday.
Happy Wine